Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the special meeting of the Board of Fire Commissioners on July 31st, 2025. Chief McCarthy, could you call roll, please?
Here. Commissioner Carroll.
Here.
Sorry.
Here.
Wasn't sure if my mic is on either. Commissioner Truex.
Present. Thank you. Okay, we'll open for public comment for any item that is not otherwise on today's agenda. Don't see any in the room. No public comments on Zoom. We'll move on then to, oh, sorry, I actually skipped over number 2, our board meeting minutes. So I have an item to approve the board meeting minutes from June 24th, 2025.
I move to approve.
I'll second. Great. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
They look good.
Okay, awesome. So go ahead and call the roll.
Okay. Commissioner Buckley.
Yes.
Commissioner, is it Correll? Okay.
Correll.
Correll. Commissioner Correll.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Truex.
Yes. Motion passes with 3 votes. All right. So with that, I will move us on to item number 8, our new business, starting with letter A, approve the purchase of rescue airbags package from Ellen Curtis for $20,220.69. Chief Walker.
So, we got familiar with airbags, they're basically a lifting system to pick up very, very heavy objects. Pretty standard in the service. They use air pressure basically to our SCBA bags or SCBA bottles. We already have those on the rigs. The system consists of basically a regulator which takes the pressure down to reduce it to 180 psi. Some controls, hoses that operate the bags. The recommendation on replacement of these is every 10 years. Ours are well over 20 at this point. We're looking to basically buy 2 identical setups, one for engine 33, one for engine 35. Those are our rescue engines. With this system, with the largest bag we're asking for a total of 4 bags. The largest bag will actually let us pick up, believe it or not, 44 tons. So they're pretty impressive what they can do. It's not something we use every day, but they're very, very unique tools. And so we're asking to replace the ones we have just due to age on the old system. So.
Scott, can you also talk about our collaboration with Search and Rescue and kind of their interest?
Yes, so Search and Rescue would like to be able to also use these. They don't have the budget to buy their own system, but they get people trapped occasionally under rocks and things, and these are pretty neat tools to get people freed up. It's also something that's light enough that it can be carried back into the backcountry. We've taken stuff like this before by helicopter into the backcountry, but they came out and we did have a demonstration. Had the manufacturer come out. We played with them here. SAR came out and used them as well. They were really excited about it because they thought they were kind of really difficult to use and kind of magical. And then they realized that they could use them as well. Not that hard.
Not that tough.
And so they were pretty excited about that. So definitely the idea would be moving forward, if they needed, they could borrow a set for backcountry rescue.
So that would be, they would just come and get them. You guys we wouldn't
Right.
deploy someone with
In
them.
the past,
I think we'd still probably want to keep
Maybe
the
send
practice
somebody?
of deploying one of our individuals with it because everything's simple for Scott because he does it every day. There is quite a bit that goes into these. So from a safety perspective, I think it makes sense. And we work with them pretty regularly on incidents, supporting carryouts. So I think we'd probably send someone in.
Yeah, and that probably makes sense.
right.
And the only other question I had is how you inflate them, but you answered that. So
How you deflate them? Oh, you simply, there's-
yeah, I was thinking, was there a compressor that went along with
Oh,
those
no,
or
so
no?
it's an air bottle, a regulator, some controls, and controls are fill and empty. It's not, a couple of buttons you push, so.
Yeah, simple.
And the newer systems they built in a lot more safeties compared to the old ones. All the pressures are fixed now, so we can't We can't overinflate them, stuff like that.
That's no fun.
You can literally lift a train with this.
Wow.
I know that one I saw 44.6 tons or something. It's crazy.
Right. And that's not even the biggest ones, but we don't want to carry too much stuff, so. Yeah, so the ask is that we purchased 2 identical systems, and I think it's just a little over $20,000.
Thank you. Any other questions? I would entertain a
No.
motion.
Yeah, I move to approve the purchase of the rescue airbag package.
I second that.
Okay, awesome. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, then we'll call the roll, please.
Great. Commissioner Bulkley,
Yes.
Commissioner Carell,
Yes.
Commissioner Truax.
Yes, motion passes unanimously. Okay, and next up, we have approved the repair costs for ladder truck 3361 main lift cylinders for $32,521.30. Chief Walker.
So if you are not familiar, 3361 is our big ladder truck with a platform on it. It's a 100-foot ladder. This year, we get our trucks tested every year. This year it failed its test due to it's not holding its elevation. Basically, when you set it up, it starts to settle. So we sent it up to the repair shop. They replaced a bunch of parts and pieces, some that were all warranted. But after the final test, it was deemed that these lifting cylinders are leaking now. They're 17, 18 years old at this point. And yeah, they're expensive. So we've got the parts moving already, but yeah, we're requesting approval for repair at 32,000.
If approved, any idea on the time frame for getting it back?
Parts, my understanding, the parts are actually have been shipped, but no, I don't have any more information than that, so.
So we're done here? Or
No, it's up in Sparks.
It's,
Well,
yeah,
our closest Pierce repair shop is in Sparks.
Sparks. Yeah.
All right, any other questions for Scott?
No, I think that needs to be done. So I'll move to approve the repairs to ladder truck 3361.
We'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bulkley,
Yes.
Commissioner Carell.
Yes.
Commissioner Truax.
Yes, motion passes unanimously. And item C, authorize Chief Walker for emergency repairs of the Station 1 generator up to $25,000.
You've been having fun.
No. So I wish this was the end of the list, but always more coming. Our generator here at Station 1 had a pretty catastrophic engine issue last time it was used. I believe it's basically broken a rod. So it's a Ford V10 engine that drives the generator. And so I've looked at several options as far as what we could do to get a generator back up in place. I'm not a huge fan of this particular generator. I had some other generators I was looking for. Simple fact is, this stuff's really, really expensive. So straight up replacement for the one we have would be in the $60,000 to $70,000 range. And if we pull that generator out, we have to basically open up the building as well, because they built,
The building.
oddly enough, they built the building around it.
Found it.
So I looked at a bunch of other options. They're all really expensive. Currently, what I'm looking to do is replace the engine with a rebuilt engine. And so I'm just asking for up to $25,000 to do that. I don't believe it's going to cost that much, but didn't want to come back to you guys.
Yeah.
And I don't have any hard numbers at this point in time right now. So, but the current plan to keep the numbers low, not take the building apart, would be to replace the existing engine that's in there, bolt it up to the existing generator and parts, and move on. That's also been there 17, 18 years. So
Yeah,
Uh,
wow. And labor wise, is that you or is that, we contract that out?
So I have been talking with Chevron and Johnny Teller and he's worked on that generator before. They are putting some numbers together for me. And so the plan would be to have those guys do
Install
that.
it.
So they, they replace engines in vehicles
Yep.
regularly, so.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And the idea would be to basically get a long block engine with all assembled, basically remove
And-
old, replace with new and move on. So.
And there will be multiple bids through this process. Is West Tech, you refer to all of it, so we'd be going with the lowest bid, but who's the other party, Scott, you were looking at for?
Well, Generac just called me this morning and basically said they won't do it. So that was I originally wanted to go to the company.
Is that the manufacturer? Is it Generac? Yeah.
It's a Generac generator and they won't do it. All they'll do is they want to do a whole new system.
Yeah.
So there's one bid off the table right there.
Yep.
So, but so like I said, I wish I had more information for you right now, but I'd like to look down this. There may be reasons why this doesn't work and doesn't make sense, but
Yeah.
I was just asking for permission to move forward with this and see if this is a good viable option for us, keeping the prices as low as possible.
Yeah. I mean, that seemed like a good number for, like you said, get a reconditioned long block and labor to put it in. I think that's a good number. What was the other question? How many hours on it? Any idea?
It's only got like 330 hours on it. However, it basically sits there. Obviously, it's not running. And when it fires up, it goes from 0 to 3,600 RPM instantly.
Yeah.
It's
Huh.
almost painful to listen to, but that's the way they designed that system. That's one of the reasons, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of that. I prefer
Yeah.
generators that run at much lower RPMs and stuff, but it's just the prices really go up. To replace it with one I would like, we're well into $150,000 type
Yeah.
of range. So
Well, at least the generator portion doesn't have a whole lot of hours, so it's probably still in decent condition, huh?
that's what I believe. Yes, there's not, there's not a whole lot of moving parts there. So.
Yeah. Sounds good to
Alright.
me.
Yeah, any other questions? No, gotta have it, so. this
Yeah.
is, and, eventually we'll probably have to do the full replacement, but I think this is a good solution for now, so. I would entertain a motion.
I motion to go for it.
Okay,
Alright.
motion,
And I second.
great.
All right.
Don't see the need for further discussion, so Chief McCarthy, could you call the roll again, please?
Commissioner Buckley,
Yes.
Commissioner Carell,
Yes.
Commissioner Truex.
Yes, motion passes unanimously. All right, we'll give Scott a break now and move on to item 8D, approve the fuels reduction wildland crew expenditures utilizing existing grant funds and district general and capital expenditure funds for a grand total of $159,824.80.
All right, so this is page 21 of your packet and 22, but the only good news is this is not all our money. This is
Yeah.
this is the state's money for a big chunk. So we're in the final year of our grant from CAL FIRE. We shifted some money in the budget to buy some more equipment. Because originally we thought we were gonna have to spend it on some CEQA compliance that didn't need to be done. So we have a little bit of money left for crew and a little bit of money for equipment. And so this page 21 table shows the kind of the equipment budget that we submitted to them that they approved. So the first half of it up there is basically hand tools for our crew, chainsaws, brush cutters, that kind of stuff. Most of these things we have tried one piece of equipment already to make sure it's the right tool for our area and our vegetation. And so then this will be buying more to gear up the whole crew. And then the bottom half is the big ticket item is a crew pickup, a crew cab Ford pickup that would be used for the wildland crew. So their saws could all live in the cab. There's a shell for it as well. So the shell could be in there locked up, and that would be used to transport some of the people and equipment to the job sites that they're doing. The other part of moving people around is a van, which I have here just the rack for the van because we actually, on the next page, we decided to buy a van from the town because they had a van that they couldn't no longer, they bought it to use for camp counselors to take kids around. Didn't realize their camp counselors would need commercial licenses to drive that size of van. Luckily, it fits well with us. So a 12-passenger van at a bargain price of $30,000. That's in good shape and has accumulated like 3,000 miles in 3 years. That'll be able to get our crew around with fewer vehicles. So then the van and then the pickup truck. Of the equipment that we're buying, you know, it's about 100,000, a little over 100,000. Grant funds would cover about 94,000 of it. So we'd be matching only about $9,000 of it. And then on that page 2 is the second set, which is our pocket. Originally the town was going to loan us the van in the summer, and then it just didn't work out and they decided they just to sell it to us. So the purchase of the van plus to make them fire vehicles, we had to do a little upfitting, put some handheld radio holders in there, put some racks to hold some of the tools and people and stuff like that. And the F-150, the pickup that we're getting through the grant, we'll do some of that too, to make it not really a command vehicle, but to make it a vehicle that in the off season could be used as a utility vehicle like we do if we go down to Reds Moto to help with a carry out or moving people around. So again, the grant's paying for the lion's share of this. So that is good that we're adding 2 vehicles to our stable here that will kind of be dedicated to this crew in the summer and be able to get them around. Right now, we've been kind of putting them in whatever vehicle we have available.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think, I said the grant funds are already approved. We have to spend them this summer. So that'll be pretty easy to hit the buy button on those.
On those, yeah.
The van is waiting for us to buy, and then the upfitting will take a little bit of time, you know, as we get the vehicles in here and start doing we're trying to do a little bit of modification in-house as well as some contractors, but you know, putting radios in them and that kind of stuff. It's nothing too complicated. But so with that, I guess I am asking for permission because rather than coming to you with each of these different individual purchases, kind of I want you to see the big picture.
Yeah.
That we're spending on towards this wildland crew. Obviously we have some stuff already, but this is a big purchase of stuff, using up the rest of the grant funds and really trying to make it work right for our crew.
Cool.
I think that all
Any
makes,
questions?
that all makes sense. I guess my one question would be the van.
Yep.
What, does that come out of our equipment fund? Is that what you were thinking, or is?
Yeah, so these will be coming out of our capital expenditures,
Mhm.
we're in good shape to position this. I foresee we're gonna have quite a few capital expenditures as we try to meet kind of the mandates of Measure M and really kind of increase our programs. So
Yeah.
there's quite a few other projects, and my goal was to get those before the board at the next board meeting before we adopt the budget as far as kind of expenditures that we see in the next 1 to 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Ultimately, in the big scheme of things, these almost become rounding errors where a new ladder truck, like we talked about, the last one was 1.1 million. I'm guessing they're probably closer to 2 million today. So, you know, these are obviously important tools that we need to meet the intent of the program and are certainly budgeted in and necessary.
Okay.
And are these the last of the CAL FIRE grant funds?
Our, the term of the grant expires at the end of this fall or this end of this year. But we have almost expended all the staff funds in this next quarter. If we spend this equipment, we will close that out in this next quarter because we'll spend the equipment and the last of the paying for the portion of our seasonal crew.
And kind of in line with that, we recognize when we built the wildland program that they're partially funded through general funds, but usually when they're successful, they're also using grant mechanisms, RFPs, doing work within the community as far as well as getting out on incidents to help fund that crew. Chief McCarthy is currently working on the next iteration of the CAL FIRE Fund. We're putting in for a grapple truck as well as individuals to work that and are expanding the scope to help kind of the surrounding communities. So we've got good support from kind of our partner agencies on this. It's a grant, so it's one of those where you're putting it against other parties, but we're working pretty closely with CAL FIRE and we think we have a competitive bid for it.
Thanks for that.
Super. Very good. All right. Any questions? No?
Oh, looks good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I move to approve the purchase of the wildland crew expenditures for with the 159,824.80.
I second it. All right, I have a motion and a second. I don't think we need any further discussion, so have you call the roll?
Commissioner Bulkley,
Yes.
Commissioner Carell.
Yes.
Commissioner Truex,
Yes, motion passes unanimously. Glad we can style out our wildland crew. Okay, so next up is item 8E, consideration of request for fee deferral of the development impact fees for the Mammoth Hospital North Wing project. Meyer.
So the fire district was approached approximately a month ago by the hospital in regards to their North Wing project. They had quite a few questions regarding how their project is being classified, as well as potentially receiving credits for buildings as may get torn down through the building process. And they were also trying to balance that against traditionally, what you have to do is pay development impact fees before you can pull your building permit. And as you're all aware, the building season is very short.
Mhm.
So working through those can be pretty tough. A lot of times we're trying to get that funding right there because it's an easy point to capture that. As you're aware, development impact fees are supposed to essentially capture the new impacts of anything that's getting built. And they certainly have an argument for, because this is going to be replacing an older existing part of the hospital, that needs to get looked at in the calculations of their fees. We're not the only group that's receiving DIF fees through this project, so they're working a parallel track with the town. And ultimately, there's a belief that, this needs to get worked out over really looking at it, it's going to take a little bit of time essentially. And so the goal that they have established with the town is that they're going to work towards an agreement for what the appropriate fees are, and they're still trying to figure out how much of their building they're going to tear down and all those other considerations. So the ask of the board is similar to what we did with the project at the Shogun Mall, is defer the fees. At this point, the only thing before the board is defer the fees. But I can see an agreement coming before the board that, examines what the actual fees should be, which allows for construction to move forward. And still allows us to work through this side of the process kind of in parallel. I will note that they actually set the schedule for the 22nd. The way that we're structured is under our diff resolution, and it's not ideal, but at the town, there's actually latitude for the town manager to just go to this process without going to the town council. For us, historically, we have gone to the board because these don't come up very often. So I wanted to bring it to the board with their issues with the permit. I did give them a 14-day extension for us to be able to make it to this meeting before they had to pay, hoping that the board could come to some sort of decision at this meeting so that they can have some direction on how much time they have.
So it sounds like at this time, we're just considering deferring and then they may come back to us for
Correct.
additional adjustments or waiving the fee.
Yes.
Any questions? No?
No.
All right, in that case, I would entertain a motion on the recommended action.
Yeah, I move that we defer the development impact fees for the north wing of the hospital project.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we need to include in the motion the item about the certificate of occupancy?
Yeah, that's the actual timeline that we're deferring to. So that gives, so yes, that'd be ideal.
You will amend your motion?
Okay, then yeah, I shall amend.
So the ask
Yeah.
is that we defer payment.
Yeah, defer payment
point
to the
of-
date requested for the certificate of occupancy pending on agreement between MLFPD and Mammoth Hospital.
Thank you.
I second that one.
Okay, awesome. I have a motion and a second. I don't think we need further discussion, so roll call, please, Chief McCarthy.
Commissioner Bulkley,
Yes.
Commissioner Carell.
Yes.
Commissioner Truex,
Yes, motion passes unanimously. Next up, we have item 8F, which is to approve an agreement with the town of Mammoth Lakes for town funding of $200,000 to perform fire reduction services.
So I brought this item to the board in the past as far as providing information on it. But at this point, what has actually occurred is the town had gone ahead and budgeted for this, and we wrote up an agreement, and the town has approved that agreement. So for this year, there was clearly a need in the community to kind of accelerate the wildland program, especially with, the Palisade Fire brought that to everybody's forefront. So the town offered to assist and pay for 4 additional individuals above the 8 that we would have been able to fund with the district to bring our program up to 12. And that's obviously been very beneficial. I spoke with the town manager on everything we've gotten done to this point. We're making huge progress on our fuels reduction as well as our outreach and evaluations across the community. So, in our opinion, for both sides, money well spent. What we wanted to do with the agreement is just kind of capture some of that work. So it was more than an invoice, but really spelled out what the district is providing for the town in this. And, ideally it is something that may in the future get used again if the town decides it wants to fund further efforts. But a lot of the work that we've been doing have been really directly tied to the town mission, both on support of the community members as well as prioritizing some of the town parcels and some of their right of ways and their areas in the work that we're doing. So the ask is that we approve the agreement as it stands.
Thank you. Any questions? No?
No.
I make a motion to approve the agreement as it stands.
And I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Do you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Buckley,
Yes.
Commissioner Correll,
Yes.
Commissioner Truex.
Yes, motion passes unanimously and I would imagine to Chief Meyer that, you probably have some kind of report on this activity. I know you're at council pretty regularly.
Yes, so we do have reports, part of it, and that's written into the agreement. We're working with a company called Fireside that's providing us with the software. And more than that, it's also kind of a tracking mechanism, both on what exists in the community as well as what we're getting done. So anytime the crew goes out, for example, and does some chipping, it asks them what the amount of chipping that was done at that area. And that starts to really show kind of how we're changing the risk for the community and in what areas, as well as, what the community is getting out of this project. So that's a big piece. That Fireside contract comes with a report that we're probably gonna have to supplement with additional things that we've done on some of the large parcel work and what we're getting done. But that's going to be the basis that we're going to bring to town council as well as to this board.
Awesome. That's cool. Thank you. All right. Moves us to item 8G, which is the last of our new business items, to approve resolution 2025-03, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Mammoth Lakes Fire Protection District, approving the July 2025 Article 10 Special and Overtime Pay Side Letter Agreement with the Mammoth Lakes Firefighters Association.
So if I could explain this item a little bit, I brought this item to the board, and it was either the March or the April meeting. And as a district, we're big believers of kind of explaining to our staff, telegraphing where the district's trying to go. And we wanted to get this done before we hired the seasonal crew because it had implications for them when they go on out of wildland assignments. So we took it to the board. And unfortunately, what ended up happening is from the association side, there was some confusion on had all the members really had input and were they aware of this item. So while that doesn't necessarily fall on the district, we want good relations between the association and the district and agreed to revisit the matter. It's still kind of a contentious matter. And what we did there was, one, go back and make some changes to the existing members who had signed up for the job and maybe were not aware of some of the terms and conditions so that they would get what they would have received the year before, but also recognizing long-term that we move towards something that's more standard in the fire service. So I believe it actually puts us in a better position long-term, but it also tries to make up for the fact that some members simply were not aware of this when they took those positions. Unfortunately, it's kind of a shorter window, but it takes a while to get through all the steps. So they went back to their association. They had a vote on this, brought it before their whole group. Now it's going to the board to move it forward from the district side. I believe it's a good move. It's certainly a compromise, as everything is, but it does kind of, again, take a look at the fact that we hired employees who may have not been aware of some things and wanted to kind of fix that. So the recommendation is the side letter as it was brought before you, which essentially goes back on some terms for the end of this year, but moving forward after this year, for when people reapply for this position, and it's clear it'll be more standard to the typical fire service agreements, which is, there's a federal standards for when you provide overtime and those sorts of things.
That was my first board meeting.
Was it? Perfect, yeah, so it's extra tricky for public safety, especially for firefighters. There's it's called a
Yeah.
7K exemption. And generally, if you're a traditional employee, you receive overtime after 40 hours, essentially, not to complicate it too much, although it is more complicated. Firefighters, because of the uniqueness of their position, hit that overtime threshold later. It usually depends on the period that you work. We work a 28-day cycle, so you usually hit it at 212. We had made some arrangements in our contract earlier due to the different types of employees. This would be moving everything towards the federal standard over time, but it would also allow for the people that are hired today for the rest of the season to be receiving that overtime earlier.
Thank you. Any questions? Anyone wish to comment on this? Okay. Seeing none. I'd entertain a motion.
All right, I move that we approve the side letter.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Buckley,
Yes.
Commissioner Correll,
Yes.
Commissioner Truex.
Yes, motion passes unanimously. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I believe we have time now to head on to item number 9, Chief Officer and Staff Reports, starting with a report on wildland program operations from Chief McCarthy.
Sure. So, first I'll talk about out of district stuff. So we have, one engine, one crew out of district right now. They're on their way back as we speak. They've been out for 14, 16, 17 days. A full tour before that's the maximum they tend to hold people up in the very north, corner of California at the Orleans complex, set of fires. They're headed back. That was actually our 3rd incident this fiscal year since July 1 already. We've been out on 3 different incidents. We've been out on 10 this calendar year already. Starting back with the Palisades and Hearst fires in January. So luckily things are quiet in the state right now. Who knows what'll happen on that? But with our bigger crew of 12 people, we've been able to send crews out and still have a functional fuels reduction crew here in town. So in that fuels crew here in town, one of the things they're doing is actual home evaluations, street side home evaluations, right? Where they kind of use them as an educational tool to advise people what they can do. We had a goal of trying to do about 1/3 of the 4,500 properties, counting condo complexes as one big sort of property. As of an hour ago, we're at 1,474.
Awesome.
So we are on track to easily meet our 1,500 first year and surpass it. And that arms people with the information about what they need to do, which then turns around and feeds them coming back to us, and asking more questions about interpreting that and doing that kind of stuff. So it kind of leads to more work. In their chipping program, we've done over 60 pickups. So nearly like 360 cubic yards of green waste that we've removed and chipped. And that's going to pick up as more and more of these people. We had a lag on getting those 1,400 inspection reports out to people because we're still building the stuff on the back end. The postcards are hitting people's mailboxes this week. For those that didn't have an email address in there. And already we've seen from the ones that did have emails, some feedback, some people come back and asking us for help with, through a White Bark Edison grant, we have 100 firewood tarps to give away. So people can apply if they have firewood that is uncovered, they can apply to get a tarp. We're starting to give tarps away. They can apply for help if they've done some of the work on their house and they have some tougher stuff to remove, like tall branches that they don't have the equipment to reach, or some small trees they don't have the equipment to take down that are, we're going out and meeting with the homeowners and agreeing to do some of that work. So we've had the first 4 of those were this week. We're going to schedule some of that work next week. So we're sticking our toes in there and helping private parcel owners We're prioritizing residents, seniors, low income, access functional needs, that kind of stuff where we can. And we're, I mean, obviously people are super appreciative that we've told them what they need to do better, but then we're actually offering to help them as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to feed itself. So I have a suspicion that our inspection level rate is gonna come down as we do more work for people.
Sure.
And divvy up the crew that way. But so far, everything is really, going well. The town has been part of the wildfire task force with us. Super happy with it. We've done 2 community barbecue events, letting people know on the trails and the knolls. We got 2 more scheduled in Old Mammoth and Midtown. Get people engaged and kind of learning about it. And it's seemingly going pretty well. I mean, it's the amount of work.
Yeah.
We also continue to work on like the parcel in the middle of town behind Cinema Bear, something. We're doing some fuels reduction there, so dropping some of the dead and dying trees. We've worked some of the High Sierra campground area, some of the Valentine Reserve area, some stuff around the MUPS trails to remove some hazard trees near the trails. But anyways, it's seemingly going pretty well, and getting fuels
Yeah.
down on the ground and out of the area.
No, I definitely noticed. I mean, they've done a lot of work. It's been great
I
seeing that.
think it's very complementary with what White Bark is contracting for on the outer edges of town. We start doing the work in town.
Yeah.
It's if they can reduce the severity of the fire that comes into town, we can increase the defensibility of the houses in town. It gives everybody a fighting chance to
Yeah.
battle anything off that comes into town.
And you did mention that we have been able to do some work along the multi-use paths. I thought we ran into some.
So we did stuff that was not on federal land.
Okay.
So by the trails was town land. We're able to touch some trees that are hazards even on federal land. But we were the more aggressive fuel break treatment like we did by the trails where we kind of masticate everything down to make a fire break. That we're on hold until because the rest of the stuff is on forest land.
Yeah.
So we've pivoted to dealing with the hazard trees, which is basically a dead or dying tree that could fall on the trail.
Yeah. Okay.
And
There is
there's,
another piece of the MUPS that we'll be working next month along Meridian coming down that the town has asked us to do that's on town property. And I'll
yes,
say that I'm fairly positive about reaching that agreement with the Forest Service. It's unfortunately going to be at the half end of this year, so it's not
Yeah.
going to give us much opportunity, but it'll set us up as a 5-year agreement. So it'll set us up in a good spot to be working projects for the next 5 years. And
Yeah.
the people are truly making the effort to work with us on this. They just obviously have constraints currently that are holding their hands a little
Yeah.
bit.
and to that, relationship, our wildland crew was out this morning training with our Forest Service counterparts.
Mm.
So they arranged a dual training and they were out this morning doing that to make sure that we play well together and know each other and know the faces and equipment work well together. And all that kind of stuff, just trying to keep up those relationships. So that when they respond to something that we're on or we respond to something they're on, it goes smoothly.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Any other questions or comments? No, I think,
Sounds great.
yeah, no, I think this is great. Just solid work. And, the one thing I would just say is I would just encourage you to, like try and grab photos where you can and document the work and show the community, the value that they're getting from, passage of Measure M as we, start to collect that. So, yeah, well done, everybody.
Yeah.
I was at Camp High Sierra the other night and yeah, it looks good. Yeah. There's a chicken, walking around on a lot of wood chips. So
Yep.
yeah, nice work. Okay, next up, item number 10, district fire chief reports. We have a report on district staffing from Chief Demike.
Yeah, so just want to give the board a quick update on staffing, both to fill needs that have arisen as well as kind of the responsibilities we're going to have with passage of Measure M, as well as what we're looking with for a potential agreement for medical services. So I don't know if I took this to the board, but firefighter Shane Holte took a position with Seattle Fire. We're very excited for him, but we're gonna miss him. He is doing quite a bit of work for quite a few projects. And again, I kind of remind the board, our firefighters have these dual roles primarily because we're a fire district. We don't have those supportive services that you see in most large organizations where they have a significant administrative component, which is actually kind of the primary function for our full-time staff. And then we have kind of the general emergency operations portion. So what we're looking at is actually tomorrow we'll be flying job opportunities. The window is 30 days with the intent that in September, there'll be a hiring process. That's most likely going to take about 2 to 3 weeks. We're hoping to have individuals starting up in October. The goal is to hire between 3 and 5 individuals long-term, one to replace Shane, and then 2 more kind of from the wildland and the EMS needs, but really have them with kind of administrative tasks that are priority for them. And we'd probably stagger that number by hiring about 3 of them in October. And then as we finalize our agreements with the town, hospital, and county on the EMS services, we have a good idea of where those other 2 individuals are coming from. But the goal would be to get to a line staff of 8 full-time. We've had some discussions with just the group as a whole, and it's also a good time to look at just our staffing model in general, in the sense that, does it make sense? For the last 20 years, we've had kind of our part-time staff on weekends and our full-time staffing midweek. But there's probably good reason to look at some changes to where there's maybe more part-time staffing midweek as well, and then some full-time staffing on the weekends as well. It leads to a little bit better, just the communications when you have a full-time staff member always available is a little easier, as opposed to right now all that responsibility is falling on the duty chiefs. Having someone at the station all the time would help. And then frankly, for some of our part-time staff, there's more interest in some of the midweek positions where they might be busy either with jobs on the weekends or with family on the weekends, to where something that's a little more flexible might benefit both the groups and the district mission as well. So those positions are going to get flown tomorrow with a 30-day window, and the intent to hire starting in the fall.
Okay. Questions?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other chief reports? That's good. Okay.
So the only other report I have real quick is, we made a call to take the closed session items. They're not time sensitive, and move them to the next regularly scheduled board meetings.
Okay.
I did tie in with our external legal counsel on the matter, and he should be available for that meeting as well, just so we're not rushing through those, and we can kind of meet the time sensitivities of today.
Thank you. Great. Okay, item number 11, any board member comments? No?
Just a thank you for the community outreach that Mr. Chief Such did for us at the mountain, right? That was really helpful. It gave us a lot to think about. So just wanted to thank you for doing that. Well received. Yeah.
All right,
And
fantastic.
thanks for help with the July 4th parade and participating.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Really appreciate everyone's efforts. It's a busy summer. Okay, any comments from anyone from the association? Okay, thank you. Any announcements? Okay, so our next regularly scheduled meeting is set for noon on August 26th, 2025. So
Works for me.
works for me. So hopefully we can not have quorum issues. Really appreciate, no, I really appreciate everyone's flexibility with doing today's special meeting. And as the chief mentioned, we will table the closed session items to that board meeting. And with that, I will go ahead and adjourn us. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Under an hour. Love these things.